Dear students, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope everybody is doing well and in good health. Today our topic of discussion is consignment accounting. And if you remember, in the last lecture we have learned about joint venture accounting. And almost the accounting treatment of both consignment and joint venture is somehow same, but with a little bit differences. So now I try to explain what is consignment, right? And then after that we will learn how many accounts we need to create in consignment, and then we will go into the practical exercise or example of a company where we will learn how you can record the consignment transactions. So dear students, consignment, when goods are dispatched by a manufacturer or a wholesale merchant to someone else on the basis that the goods are to be treated as the property of the consignor, right? Okay, so dear students, very much simple. For example, if there are two parties, party A and B, and one party or one business, right, is sending goods to another one, right, the second party, and here the second party is only taking the responsibility to sell the goods, and the first party is the owner, right, when the goods are dispatched by the manufacturer. So assume the manufacturer here is the owner, or wholesale merchant, anybody who is having a wholesale business, right, to someone else on the basis that the goods, right, this is good, the goods are to be treated as the property of the consignor. Okay, the goods are to be treated as the property of the consignor. So anybody who is sending goods, he is called consignor, right? Party A who is sending goods to the party B, so the party A is consignor. Look, the person who dispatches them, and to be sold at his risk. Okay, so it's mean the risk is all related to the consignor, not to the consignee. The consignee, the person receiving the goods, does not buy these goods, right? The consignee is not buying, actually he is not sharing with the consignor, but merely undertakes to sell them on behalf of the consignor. Okay, look, consignor is a person who is sending goods, okay, and a person who is receiving goods, he is called consignee. Look, the consignee, who is consignee? The person receiving the goods. Keep in mind, dear students, it means we have two parties here. One is consignee, another is consignor. Consignor is dispatching or sending goods, while consignee is receiving goods. Now, all risk is taken by the consignor, and consignee is only responsible to sell the goods for commission. Okay, so the sale proceeds belong to the consignor, and the consignee merely gets the agreed commission for his services. Okay, so a portion, a percentage, right, which both parties agreed upon, and that is to be given to whom? To consignee, right, for his services, in addition to any expenses he might have incurred, or any expenses if the consignee paid. So dear students, this is simply what you have learned about the consignment, right? So in the consignment there are two parties, one is the consignor, another is consignee. Consignor is sending goods to whom? To the consignee. Maybe they are in the different places. Okay, and the consignee is selling all goods on behalf of the consignor, but keep in mind all the risk is bear by whom? By consignor, and the consignee is only receiving commission or any other expenses if he paid. Okay, this was about the concept. Now we come into accounts. So what is accounts? How many accounts we have in consignments? Consider a consignor will make one account by the name of consignment 2, right? Consignment to place name. and another account should be personal account by the name of consignee. So let me explain all these accounts here practically to you. Look, dear students, we have two books. One is for example, here is Gulzar, and here we have Ahmad and Bro, right? So the Gulzar is a person who is a consigner here, and the Gulzar is sending some goods to whom? To Ahmad and Bro. Now Gulzar, the consigner, should maintain two accounts, one by the name of consignment to Jalalabad or consignment to place account, and another by the name of the partner, who is a partner of Gulzar, that is Ahmad and Bro. Similarly, Ahmad and Bro will create one partner account only, not consignment to Jalalabad account. So dear students, once again, consigner will have to maintain two accounts. One is by the name of consignment to place. Okay, if the consigner is sending goods to different places, so for each and every place the consigner will have to create an account. But in this exercise, the consigner Gulzar, who is sending goods to Ahmad and Bro, he is in Jalalabad. So that is why one account is maintained. And keep in mind, dear student, Gulzar will record in this account two things: expenses and revenues. So all expenses which are incurred, right, they should be mentioned in the debit side, and all revenues generated by this consignment, that is to be mentioned or shown in the right side of this account. And this account Ahmad and Bro, dear students, that is between Gulzar and Ahmad. Okay, if there are some dues that is to be paid by Gulzar to Ahmad, or some receivable to be collected by Gulzar from Ahmad, so that is mentioned in this account. So the payable and receivable between these two individuals, right, these two parties, they are shown in this account. And similarly, Ahmad and Bro is having one account by the name of Gulzar. So any receivable, so the debit side is representing the receivable from Gulzar, and the credit side is representing payable. And similarly here, the debit is representing the receivable from whom? From Ahmad and Bro, and the credit is showing the payable. Okay, now dear students, let me read this question exercise, and then we'll come to work practically. So in January 1st, Gulzar Company Kabul, okay, this is a company which is in Kabul, and sent 600 units of goods to whom? Ahmad and Bro. So look, very much simple and easy. Gulzar, who is the consigner, okay, sent how many goods? Sent 600 units to whom? To Ahmad and Bro, Jalalabad. Okay, because Ahmad and Bro has a business in Jalalabad, and that is why Gulzar is sending to him to help Gulzar to sell the goods of the Gulzar in Jalalabad. Okay, that is on consignment basis. The consignees, maybe there are more than one consignee, 2, 3, 4. So the consignees are entitled to receive 4% commission on sale. Okay, so anybody who is selling goods on behalf of the consigner, who is Gulzar, right, he will receive some commission. How much? 4% commission on sale plus expenses, and the cost of goods sent per unit $110. Keep in mind, how many units are sent here? 600 units. And what is the cost per unit? $110. Okay, on January 2, right, the second day, Ahmad and Bro paid the following expenses. The consignee maybe incurred some expenses needed, right, for the goods to be sold, or for this operation, right, which is to be undertaken. So the transaction paid by whom? By Ahmad, $800, and this is on the account of the Gulzar. It means it is not related to him actually. So he has paid $800, and also rent and insurance paid how much? $1,500. It means these two expenses incurred by whom? By consignee, and this is for the purpose and operation of, right, to sell out the goods of Gulzar. In the process of selling out goods of Gulzar, maybe the transportation, when the goods are sent to him, so the transportation cost paid by the consignee, and also maybe the rent of the store where the goods of the Gulzars were kept by the consignee, the rent paid or the insurance paid. Okay, next, on January 5th, Gulzar draws and the consignee Ahmad and Bro a draft of $20,000, which is duly accepted by consignee. Okay, this is usually happening in the consignments. One party, who is Gulzar or the consigner, ordering the second party, who is Ahmad and Bro, to pay him $20,000 or to accept the bill of exchange for $20,000. Inshallah, we will work practically a little bit late, which is duly accepted by consignee. Here the consigner, the Gulzar, is just ordering Ahmad and Bro to accept $20,000 draft, right? Telling him to accept $20,000 to pay. Why? Because this is quite logical. Ahmad and Bro is ready to accept. Why? Because Ahmad and Bro is keeping some goods of Gulzar. So that's why Ahmad and Bro is willing to accept the bill of $20,000 to pay on behalf of the Gulzar, to anybody or to the third party, which is duly accepted by consignee. And the same date it is discounted for how much? $19,500. Gulzar is getting how much? $20,000 bill, $19,500, and that is discounted by for how much? $19,500. Dear student, let me just tell you and explain this transaction number 5, January 5 transaction. But I'm just explaining in detail when we just do it here practically. Now what we are doing now, in this question, both the parties, the consigner and the consignee, will record these transactions. So all transactions related to the consigner, how he will record it in the book of the consigner, in his book, and also how he will post all these transactions into these ledger accounts. And similarly, Ahmad, how he records all these transactions and how he can post it here. So the first transaction, we have Gulzar company, Kabul sent 600 units of goods to Ahmad and Bro. And how much is the cost of the goods? We have $110. It's mean, so how much value goods, right? How much amount and value that is sent to Ahmad and Bro. So let me mention the date here, that is January 1st. Gulzar should debit what? Consignment to Jalalabad account. And how much? Equal sign, we have 600 units, so 600 multiply into $110. So that is equal to $66,000. And what should be credited to trade account, to trade, or if you use purchase account, to purchase account, credited $66,000. So dear students, let me explain this transaction. We are debiting consignment to Jalalabad account. This account, as I have told you, that this account is debited for all expenses and goods supplied. So here is Gulzar is doing some expense, right? It means supplying some goods. How much goods supplied? $66,000. So obviously Gulzar should mention in his consignment to Jalalabad account, so this account should be debited because this amount goes into the consignment account. And Gulzar is crediting the trade or the purchases account or the purchase account. So if, for example, Gulzar is maintaining account by the name of purchases or trade, whatever, so this account should be credited. Why? Because all the goods are kept in this account. So when Gulzar is purchasing goods, so Gulzar is debiting trade or purchases account. But whenever Gulzar is supplying some amount of goods into the consignment account, so obviously he have to decrease or reduce which account? The trade or purchases account, as it decreases. This was about, dear students, about Gulzar, the first transaction when he is just sending or dispatching goods. Okay, Ahmad and bro, is it required for Ahmad and bro to record this transaction? No, Ahmad and bro is not recording this transaction as it is not related to him. If you remember, I told you Ahmad and bro is not keeping any account by the name of consignment. Why? Because this consignment to Jalalabad account is determining the profit or losses. The profit and loss is determined here, and Ahmad and bro has nothing to do with profit and losses. He only deal with this person, so that is why the owner is having account to determine the profit and losses. So hence Ahmad and bro is not needing to record the first transaction. Okay, next dear students, we have, okay, you can just give a brief description here. So you can say goods sent to Ahmad and bro Jalalabad. Okay, so you have to give description for each and every transaction as it is required in the journal. Okay, next we have what we have next in the transaction in January 2. Ahmad and bro paid the following expenses. Okay, how much expense paid by Ahmad and bro? 800 plus 1500. Okay, now this transaction to be recorded by consigner Gulzar. Why? Keep in mind, any transaction happening in the consignment, that is to be recorded by consigner, and that is must. Why? Because consigner should know at the end how much is a profit or loss. So January 2, right, what we are doing now, consigner should debit what? This transaction. Why? Because it is an expense for the consigner. So when we debit, so again the consignment to Jalalabad account should be debited. Once again, dear students, this account should be debited for all expenses incurred on behalf of the consignment. So Ahmad and bro has incurred some expenses, so that is why the Gulzar is debiting this account here. Okay, how much should be debited? Okay, depending on the level of expense incurred. So 800 plus $1,500. So you can say $2,300 expense incurred by whom? By the consignee. So what should be debited? Should Gulzar debit any cash account here? No. Why? Because the cash of the Gulzar not affected. Actually, this expense incurred by Ahmad and bro. So that is why the name of Ahmad and bro should be credited. How much? $2,300. Why the Ahmad and bro account should be credited here? The reason behind, because the expense paid by him, and this amount is payable back to whom? To Ahmad account. So that's why it is credited. Okay. Okay, next, this transaction, the second transaction, is it related to Ahmad and bro? Yes. Keep in mind, whenever any transaction is happening here with Gulzar, Ahmad and bro should look into. So if it is required by Ahmad and bro, so Ahmad and bro should also record it. And if it is not required, then there is no need. So as the first transaction was not required by Ahmad and bro, so the second transaction is required to be recorded by Ahmad and bro. Why? Because he has incurred some expenses. So it means some accounts of Ahmad and bro affected directly here. So that is why whenever Ahmad and bro accounts are affected, then he should record that transaction. Otherwise, if any of the account of Ahmad and bro is not affected, so that transaction is not recorded. So that is why we say in January 2, Ahmad and bro is also debiting how much? This amount. Okay, now what Ahmad and bro supposed to debit? Ahmad and bro should debit receivable account, mean debit the Gulzar account. Okay, so he should debit Gulzar account. Okay, how much is the amount? Okay, $2,300, and to credit what? Because his cash account affected, so he has to credit cash account. Okay, look dear students, Gulzar Ahmad and bro, right, is debiting Gulzar account. Why? Because he will receive this amount from Gulzar. So that is why Gulzar is like a receivable for Ahmad and Bro. So Gulzar account debited and Ahmad and Bro a cash account credited, as he is paying the cash. How much? $2,300. So you can say here expenses incurred are transportation, rent, rent and insurance expense paid. Okay, so he paid this expense. That was the reason he is debiting Gulzar and crediting cash account. Once again, why Gulzar debited? Because Ahmad and Bro will receive this amount from Gulzar. This is as though Ahmad and Bro is just giving loan to whom? To Gulzar. So when you give a loan, so if you remember, account receivable is debited and cash is credited. Account receivable should be debited and cash should be credited if a company is giving loan or if anybody is giving loan. So that is exactly the concept is like that. Okay, next, dear students, on January 5th, Gulzar draws and the consignee Ahmad and Bro a draft of $20,000. Okay, let me explain this point. For example, here we have two parties. Okay, one, this is okay, something is wrong here. Okay, one party, this is consignor, right? This is consignor, and this is another party is called consignee. Okay, now there are some goods. These are the goods of whom? These are goods of consignor. Okay, sent to consignee. Okay, look, dear students, this consignor is ordering consignee, this individual, and telling him to accept a draft. What is a draft? A draft is a document like paper. Okay, and this draft, it is written. Who has written? This consignor has written or ordered this individual consignee to pay a certain amount. And how much is the amount in our example? $20,000. $20,000. Okay, $20,000. Okay, once again, consignor, right, is just ordering the consignee and telling him to accept this draft. So this is only a document, and this consignee is drawing signing and accepting. Okay, this individual is telling to this consignee that you will have to pay this draft, the holder of the draft. To anybody, the consignor is just negotiating or just giving this draft, and then this individual will pay the draft. For example, whenever this draft is accepted by the consignee is just taking the responsibility and to tell the consignee, no problem, I will pay this draft. Right, now this draft is taken back by this consignor, and the consignor is just negotiating this draft. For example, the consignor is just going into bank. This consignor is needing some cash, going into bank and telling the bank that I have a draft equal to $20,000, and this draft can be paid by whom? By the consignee after 1 month, and the consignee has already accepted this draft. Okay, this is like a bill of exchange. This transaction is happening whenever the consignee is not having a cash right now. So the consignor is ordering consignee just accept the draft. What is the acceptance of the draft? The consignee is taking the responsibility to pay the draft to the holder at the maturity. Now whenever the accepted draft is taken back by the consignor, so consignor can just cash it in the bank, telling the bank that I have a draft of $20,000, right, and I need to discount it. I need the discounted amount. So what the bank is doing here, the bank is giving to this consignor, for example, 19,500, right? Because of what? Because the bank can get back at the maturity from this individual completely $20,000. Now the bank is earning $500, and what is the benefit of the consignor here? The benefit of the consignor is that he is needing cash, so he cannot wait for a month to get a cash from this individual. So that is why if consignor is needing cash, so he is discounting this amount, and just he is sacrificing $500 and getting $19,500. Okay, and I hope you got this point, dear students. Now, what is in this question? And fifth, Gulzar draws the consignee, right? Means ordering the consignee Ahmad and Bro, and to what is just drawn? Draft. In the draft, it is ordered that the consignee should pay this $20,000 at maturity to the holder, which is duly accepted by consignee. On the same date, it is discounted for $19,500. Okay, what does this mean? It's mean now whenever the draft is taken back by the consignor is going into the bank and getting $19,500. Why? Because he needs cash. On January 10th, Ahmad and Bro report that the entire consignment is sold for how much? For $80,000. Now Ahmad and Bro sold the goods, and how much is the amount of goods? 80,000. Means whatever the entire account, he sold $66,000 amount of goods, and that is sold by Ahmad and Bro, the consignee, right? So now we are recording this transaction, right? Before this transaction, we have to record this one, the draft. Have to record the draft. Okay, look, the consignor, right, on January 5, okay, is debiting what? Bill receivable account, right? How much? $20,000, and crediting Ahmad and Bro $20,000. Look, dear students, why Gulzar is debiting bill receivable? The reason, because whenever Gulzar is ordering Ahmad and Bro to accept the draft, so he is getting an asset now. So the draft which is taken back by the consignor, so that is now an asset of consignor, right? Because there is a promise written, and accepted by whom? By Ahmad and Bro, that Ahmad and Bro will pay this 20,000 amount, right, to the holder. So that is why the bill which is which the consignor is holding, right, we say that is an asset of the consignor, and this asset is created whenever the draft is accepted by Ahmad and Bro. Okay, now in Ahmad and Bro account is credited. Why? Because this asset is created by Ahmad and Bro, so it's mean who is taking the responsibility of this amount? Ahmad and Bro. So that's mean that this 20,000 amount is payable to Ahmad and Bro, right? It's mean the draft is taken here, the asset is created, and he is holding the asset, but who has given this asset to him? So we can say Ahmad and Bro, but Ahmad and Bro is not signing this for free, so the consignor should pay this amount to Ahmad and Bro. That is why we are crediting Ahmad and Bro account, or the payable account here. Okay, next, dear students, this transaction should be recorded by Ahmad and Bro also. Why? Because as it is related to Ahmad and Bro. So on January 5, now whenever the draft is accepted by Ahmad and Bro, right, it's mean Ahmad and Bro is not accepting it for free. Obviously he has given a surety to get this amount back from Gulzar. So that is why Gulzar account should be debited by Ahmad and Bro, and he should credit bill payable account. Okay, and how much? $20,000, and here is $20,000. Once again, let me explain this point, dear students. Gulzar is debiting Ahmad and Bro is debiting this account $20,000. Why? Because he will get this amount from Gulzar and he will pay. Whenever you make an acceptance, it's mean you will get it from someone and you will pay to another. So it's mean if Ahmad is liable to pay this bill payable $20,000, so he will get it from whom? From Gulzar. So from obviously because this individual is having some goods of Gulzar, so that's why Gulzar account is debited here. Why? Because this amount to be received from Gulzar, from the goods of the Gulzar when they are sold, and now Ahmad and Bro is liable to pay this amount to the third party or to the holder, whoever that can be. Okay, this was about to record the bill of exchange or the draft here. Okay, next, on January 10th, Ahmad and Bro report that the entire consignment is sold for $80,000. Now Ahmad and Bro is selling the consignment, all the goods. So this transaction to be recorded by Gulzar, and that is in January 5. Sorry, this is on the same account on January 10th. This is January 10th. Now Gulzar should debit Ahmad and Bro account. Why? Because goods sold by Ahmad and Bro in the cash is received by him. So that is why Ahmad and Bro is receivable for him. This amount to be taken from him, to be received from him. How much? That is $80,000. So 80,000 should be debited, and he should credit consignment to Jalalabad account for $80,000. As I have explained already that this consignment account is credited for all revenues. So here the sale done. So whenever the sale took place, then that is why Ahmad and Bro is crediting consignment account as increase in the revenue. So this side or the credit side increasing, right, whenever there is a revenue, and this is all for expenses. So that is why consignment account credited as the revenue generated. Okay, this transaction to be recorded by Ahmad and Bro as directly its cash account affected, because he is receiving some cash here. So on 10th January, so he is debiting cash. Okay, how much cash he is receiving from the sale? $80,000, and he is crediting Gulzar account. Why? Because the Gulzar is payable here, because he has to pay this amount to Gulzar. It is not his amount, because the goods of the Gulzar sold by him. So he is receiving cash, so we are debiting the cash, and he is paying 80,000. He will pay 80,000 to whom? To Gulzar, as it is not his money, and it's belong to Gulzar. Okay, next, dear students, as it is mentioned here in the question, the 4% commission that is received by whom? By Ahmad and Bro. And whenever the sale is happening, right, and the sale is taking place, then the Ahmad and Bro will get 4% commission. So now the commission expense incurred. So Gulzar and Gulzar should record the commission expense as the sale took place, right? Then you can say on the same date, on 10th January, Gulzar should debit consignment account, consignment to Jalalabad account. Why? Because this is an expense for Gulzar, and I have explained already, for all expenses a consignment account should be debited. And how much should be the expense here? The commission. So equal sign sale, we have $80,000. This is a sale, and should be multiplied by the percentage of the commission, that is 0.04. Okay, so 3,200 commission to be paid. So that is why expense account credited. And to whom this commission should be paid? The payable account, that is Ahmad and Bro. Okay, 3,200. Now here Ahmad and Bro is earning commission, so that is why the commission should be recorded by Ahmad and Bro. From whom he will receive this commission? From Gulzar. So that is why Gulzar account to be debited, right? How much? 3,200. And he is crediting his commission account, his revenue account, directly affected, right? You can say commission account 3,200. Okay, so dear students, Gulzar debited by Ahmad and Bro because this amount will be received by Ahmad and Bro, right? And he is crediting commission as his revenue or his income or benefit is increasing here. Okay, next, dear students, next we have on January 31st, Ahmad and Bro settle his account by bank draft. Okay, settled his account by bank draft. It's mean finally Ahmad and Bro, the remaining amount, the balance is paid to Gulzar. Now up to this point we are not having any further transactions in the question. Now we have to post all these transactions into consignment in Ahmad account, and Ahmad should post all the related transactions into Gulzar account. So come, dear students, now we are posting all transactions to consignment account. Okay, so look, consignment account debited how much? $66,000. so you can say this account debited $66,000, and because of what was the reason, you can mention the reason here. Debited 60 because of trade. Okay, I'm just simply mentioning the reason. So consignment account debited $66,000. as you can see, consignment to Jalalabad debited because of trade. In the description you should give the credit as a reason. Okay, next, consignment account again debited how much? $2,300, and that is because of Ahmad and Bro, right? Ahmad and Bro. Let me make it simple. Ahmad and Bro. Okay, 2,300. Okay, next we have, okay, here debited a consignment account, in the second here debited, and next we're not having a debit here. So first I'm just moving all the debit values. So 3,200 debited in January 10. So 3,200 debited, and that is also because of Ahmad and Bro. Okay, so we posted all the debit entries. So consignment here debited, we moved, and also this account we posted here amount, and also we posted here. Now we are coming to the credit. We are not having a credit entry in the first transaction, in the second, in the third, and the fourth transaction we have a credit entry of consignment. So how much amount credited, you can say, see here, that is 80,000, right? And this is because of Ahmad and Bro. So dear students, as I've already explained, this account is the consignment to place account is only to determine the profit or losses. This is just telling you that whether you have generated the benefit or whether you have suffered the losses in this consignment account. So very much easy. Now we are determining the balance. How much is the balance? So from 80,000 you have to subtract all this amount. The credit side is higher, so equal sign from 80,000 minus the sum of all the debit side. So we need to know how much is the balance. Okay, that is $8,500. So dear students, keep in mind that if the credit side is higher, it means the revenue generated, there is a benefit or profit. But if the debit side is higher, it means there is a losses. But luckily, unfortunately, the credit side is higher, as we have $80,000, and these are the expenses. From the revenues we are subtracting all the expenses. So how much is the benefit that is earned, or the profit that is earned by Gulzar? That is $8,500. Okay, so in this ledger we are just mentioning the credit balance in the credit side and the debit here in the debit side, right? Okay, now we are posting the partner values or the balances. Okay, so before posting the partners here, so now I'm just closing this consignment account and moving this $8,500 the profit account of Gulzar. So keep in mind, if you want to close this consignment account, so we have a balance in the credit side, but if you close it, you have to debit this account. Look, we have a credit here. I'm just closing it, 8,500. When you close it, to which account you are closing it? To profit and loss, to profit and loss account. I'm just closing it. So you can record this transaction here. The last transaction, assume it is at January 31st, the end of the month, we are closing the book. So you have to debit the consignment account. Why I'm debiting consignment account? Because I'm closing it. So if you close any account with a credit balance, you have to debit it, and if it has a debit balance, then you have to credit it. So that is why consignment account, I'm just debiting it 8,500 to close this account. And to which account I have to credit this? To profit and loss account. So my profit and loss account is, for example, increasing how much? $8,500. So look, dear students, the same entry I have already posted here. So you can see here a consignment account debited 8,500, and the reason is profit and loss account. So now whenever just you bring a changes a little bit in this formula, just include this amount also here. So this balance account is becoming zero. Why it is zero? Because now after the closing, all the total of the debit and the credit must equal. When that is equal, the balance becomes zero, then we can say account close. We closed this account. Now we are coming to post all the values of Ahmad here. So look, are we having Ahmad here? No. So here we are not having Ahmad. Yes, here in the second transaction, Ahmad in Bro account credited, and that is $2,300, and because of consignment, okay, consignment to place account. Okay, next we have Ahmad in Bro credited $20,000, 20,000 credited, and that is because of bill receivable, right? And next Ahmad in Bro debited $80,000, this account debited, and that is because of consignment. Okay, simply. Okay, next again consignment, Ahmad in Bro. I'm just dealing with Ahmad in Bro. Ahmad in Bro credited here 3,200. So 3,200 credited, and that is because of again consignment. Okay, next finally we are not having. Okay, so now all transactions related to Ahmad we have posted. So here Ahmad account credited, we posted into the credit. Here again credit 20,000, and here Ahmad in Bro again credit 3,200, and finally Ahmad in Bro here in one place debited 80,000, and that is we have moved 80,000. Okay, dear students, next we are coming and post all transaction of Ahmad in Bro into his accounts, and this posting to be done by Ahmad in Bro. So you are learning both, and from the perspective of Gulzar and from the perspective of the consignee. So if you are consignor, you have to just record in this way, but if you are consignee, then after to record transaction, then you have to post them all into the ledger account. Okay, so look, we are posting Gulzar. So Gulzar account debited how much? 2,300. Okay, and that is because of cash. And next Gulzar account debited 20,000, right, and that is because of bill payable. And next Gulzar account credited how much? 80,000, right, and that is credited 80,000 because of cash, because he is receiving cash. Okay, yes, Gulzar account credited 80,000 because of cash. And next we are not having. Okay, so look, dear students, Gulzar we have posted all the values. So here we have Gulzar debited, so we have moved into the debit. Gulzar again debited 20,000, we moved here into the debit. And next Gulzar account here credited, so we move the value into the credit. And then finally here we have Gulzar account debited 3,200 here, 3,200, and that is because of commission. So this is quite clear. In this account, this side is representing what? The receivable, and this side is representing the payable. Now I'm just balancing both accounts. First I'm just balancing this account. So look, when you try to balance the account, just check which side is higher. So obviously the debit side is higher. So how much is the balance? So from this debit side minus the total of all the credit values we have here, and the balance we have is equal to 54,500. So dear students, if the balance we have in the debit, right, it means this is receivable. This is what? Okay, receivable. It means the Gulzar should receive from Ahmad and Bro how much amount? 54,500. So if the balance is coming in the credit, it means it is payable. Gulzar should pay it. But now Gulzar is receiving from Ahmad and Bro 54,500. Now whenever we are balancing this account, so just check which account, which side is more. So obviously the credit side is higher. So now we are balancing. Again, equal side from this credit you have to minus the summation or the total of all the debit value, and then we are having 54,500. So this is the payable balance. The payable balance is representing the payable balance, right? It's mean Ahmad and Bro should pay to whom? Gulzar. How much? This much amount. And here Gulzar should receive from whom? Ahmad and Bro. How much? This. So it's quite okay. So keep in mind, if we have a receivable here, so we must have a payable here. If we have payable here, we must have receivable here, right? So if in both sides we have payable, receivable, it means you are doing some mistake. Okay. Now finally, as it is clear from this account, right, Gulzar should receive from Ahmad how much? 54,500. So look, how much is the total receivable from Ahmad? The total receivable from Ahmad is $80,000. But keep in mind, from this 80,000, Ahmad should deduct all his expenses. Like Ahmad paid in the beginning expenses. What expenses? Transportation, rent and insurance, and also he has accepted the draft to pay the draft after 1 month to the holder of the draft, and also he is receiving the commission. Look, these three things, that is from the side of Ahmad. So that is, he has to deduct it from $80,000, and what is the rest amount? 54,500 should be received by Gulzar when this amount is deducted from him. And the same is here. So from this 80,000, this is a payable. From this payable, Ahmad and Bro is deducting all of his amount, and the rest he is only liable to pay 54,000 to Gulzar. Okay. Now it is told here that on January 31st, Ahmad and Bro settled his account by bank draft. It's mean by bank check or draft the amount is paid. It's mean this debt released by whom? By Ahmad and Bro is paying to Gulzar. So whenever Gulzar is receiving this amount on January 31st, for example, final day 31st, then he is debiting cash account how much? 54,500, and he is crediting from whom he is receiving this amount? From Ahmad and Bro. So that is why he is crediting 54,500, Ahmad and Bro, right? Okay, this is the amount whenever Gulzar is receiving his receivable. He's collecting his receivable from Ahmad and Bro. Liability, Ahmad and Bro, you can say account receivable is decreasing here. And now this transaction to be recorded by this individual also on January 31st, right? He is debiting Gulzar as he is paying to Gulzar. So you can say payable account of Gulzar. Here the Gulzar account is a payable, so the liability is decreasing, right? Whenever he is making a payment by bank, right? Why? Because he is making a payment by bank, right? So that is why the bank account is credited when he is paying the draft by draft. Okay, so Gulzar account should be debited 54,500, and the bank is decreasing 54,500 accounts. So dear students, the final two entries, let's post them. Okay, so look, Ahmad and Bro again created how much? 54,500. so I'm just crediting 54,500, and that is because of cash. Now just in the formula extend it and include this amount also, and finally we have a zero balance. Why? Because whenever you want to close this account, as you have received the cash here, you have received Ahmad and Bro credited, it means this account settled. So you can say this account closed as the balance is becoming zero. And now Ahmad and Bro is also just recording this payable, just moving this amount right into the ledger. So Gulzar account debited. How much debited? 54,500, and that is because of bank. Okay, now just check and extend this range here. So again this account is becoming zero as he is paying the liability, so this account also closed. Okay, so dear students, I hope you have learned all about consignment. What is consignment, how many parties we have, and what transactions should be recorded by consignor, and how it is to be posted into their respective ledger account. And similarly, from the perspective of consignee, also you have learned how he should record all transactions in his ledger accounts. Dear students, if you have any questions, so you can put a question in a comment section, or you can just ask me in the class. Okay, so have a nice time and wish you good luck. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.